Hello and welcome to the ADHD Guru podcast. My name is Jonathan Carroll. I am an ADHD and executive functioning coach. For more information on me, you can visit my website at adhdguru.com. You can call me at area code 877-398-2343. You can shoot me an email to Jonathan, that's Jonathan at adhdefcoach.com. You can find me on YouTube and at Twitter at ADHD Guru. Perhaps you are watching this on YouTube. Thank you. I have other videos on there as well if you are not. Both my podcast and other videos I put out to keep people sort of in the loop. If you are on Facebook, you can find me at ADHD Coach. I guess should mention I also have an Instagram account under ADHD Guru. We'll throw that in there as well. Might start utilizing that more often. And if you're listening to this, the iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, or TuneIn Radio app, thank you. If you can leave me feedback, would be greatly appreciated. Good feedback is always good. Constructive feedback is always more helpful. And if you have any show ideas, topic ideas, anything you'd like me to talk about, please let me know, and I would be happy to do that. Today's topic is one that I have written about in the past, done a video on. Really got a lot of traction on this, and so I felt like, it's everything with ADHD is always evolving. So I think it's time that I put out some sort of new information and try to supplement what I've done before. And that is discussing, is it ADHD or is it narcissism? Now, I am an adult with ADHD. And so a lot of the stuff that I do, a lot of the things that I come up with are sort of a study of myself, in addition to the clients that I work with. And I really work with a broad range and spectrum of clients. I also deal with this myself and like to be as transparent as possible with my clients and with you guys, because I think it's important that you see this as not just a disorder affecting you, but a disorder that affects many people, or not. I shouldn't necessarily even say you, someone that you love, a friend, a child, a spouse, or however your relationship goes, that you understand that this disorder is not a one size fits all thing. And us people with ADHD will do things differently. I've probably seen dozens of clients in my career, and I can tell you that every client presents ADHD differently than the next. There are things that we do that are probably stereotypical, but there are just so many ways that some of us function. I go from having a client who's, a highly successful professional to a client that has a very difficult time finding and maintaining employment. So it really all depends. Okay, so let's talk about the differences between the two. I'll use, again, me as sort of the measuring stick of this. I'm a very regimented person, and that's how I function on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes it can come across as me being very stubborn or being selfish, but it's the way I do things. I really like to follow a calendar. I like to follow things to the letter of the law almost, because that's how I get through my day. I found that by having sort of a very dogmatic approach to my scheduling, to the things that I do, it helps me function. One of the traits of having a narcissistic personality disorder is being extremely selfish. So does that mean that I have narcissism in addition to my ADHD? Well, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist or neuropsychological evaluator, so I necessarily can't answer that. But what I can tell you is that what I do to function my ADHD, I think may not necessarily be narcissism, but it may come across as that. So I can get very selfish and self-centered when it comes to my schedule or the things that I like to do, because I very much regiment my days and the things that I like to get to do with those things. Okay, so that's one trait of this. So again, am I selfish? Well, I don't want to say I'm not selfish, but I think sometimes the things that I do that can come across as selfish are really, coping strategies that I've developed so I can function better on a day-to-day basis. Okay. Another trait of having a narcissistic personality disorder is having a grandiose view of one's own talents and craving for admiration. Okay, this is a tricky one because I think sometimes, I like to get feedback. And I like to get feedback, I like to cook. So I like to get feedback on the things that I cook. And like I tell those people I cook for, don't tell me it's good, tell me what you think. I'm really big into smoking food. So I have a smoker and I smoke like, briskets and ribs and things like that. So hopefully this is not around lunchtime and I'm not making all of you hungry. But the point is that I like to seek feedback and honest feedback because, I use different kinds of woods and different kinds of spices and different kinds of this and different kinds of that. And so I like to make sure that people give me feedback. So, do I crave admiration for that? Not necessarily. I'm craving honest feedback. Some people might see that differently. In fact, I've gotten feedback like, do you want us to compliment your food? I'm like, no, I want you to tell me what you think. Or when I do something well, I like to know about it. Do I go to people like, oh, tell me how great I did. Tell me how great I did. I don't necessarily do that, but sometimes, look, we all want to get good feedback. We all want to hear the things that we do well. So sometimes getting that information is something we seek out, that positive feedback. A lot of my clients with ADHD will build him or herself up. Again, I've done that too, where it's like, oh no, I got this. Oh, I'm the greatest. No, I'm the smartest. No, I'm this. No, I'm that. And I know I can do this. I have a friend who who has ADHD, who recently lost his or her job. I'm not going to be specific because it's only fair to that person. And the first thing that he or she said was, "Oh, I'm not worried. I'm really talented, and I'll get another job." And you want to give persons supportive and constructive feedback, but at the same time you also want to help a person understand why he or she may have gotten into a pickle to begin with and ways to avoid that in the future. So I think we do that sometimes because with ADHD we struggle with self-esteem. So I think sometimes we want to make ourselves feel better by building ourselves up, but at the same time as you have to be careful because you also have to be realistic to who you are. So again, there's some of the crossover between ADHD and narcissism. Again, can people with ADHD have the narcissistic personality disorder? Absolutely. I think that we're not denying that, but sometimes things that we do with our ADHD can come across as narcissistic and not necessarily be narcissistic. So if you kind of feel that maybe you fall into both categories, you should probably get evaluated to make sure that you're more clear on what you're dealing with. And if someone that you deal with sometimes comes across that way, maybe take a deeper look into how he or she functions in order to better help that person be more successful. So I hope that helps a little bit. I'm happy to answer more questions about this in the article or on YouTube and on the other services that has my podcast. I'm going to link to my original article, which also has a video that I put together. So you'll have some more information on this topic. So let me close with giving my contact info one more time. I'm Jonathan Carroll, ADHD and Executive Functioning Coach. For more information on me, you can visit ADHDguru.com. You can call me at area code 877-398-2343. Send me an email to Jonathan, that's JONATHAN at ADHDEFcoach.com. I am ADHD Guru on Twitter, YouTube, and on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook at ADHDEFcoach.com. If you are listening to the iTunes, Google Play Store, Stitcher Radio, or TuneIn, please leave me feedback. And with that, I will see you the next time. Have a wonderful day.